Trinidad and Tobago event, and this move led to the disclosure of his performance fee of US 1.35 million. Co-founder of Irish and Chip, the most respected reggae promotion company, Mr. Godfrey Chip Bourne, thinks the fee disclosure will cause a lot of problems in dancehall, and joins us now via Zoom to discuss. Morning, Fred. Welcome to Smile. How are you?
Good morning, Jamaica.
Yeah, great to have you with us this morning. Before we get into the meat of this, should the fee have been disclosed in the first place?
I think a fee of that magnitude is not healthy to be disclosed for in our climate. 1.35 million would make it the most money that we've ever heard a dancehall and reggae artist be compensated for performance, which kind of changes the trajectory of our whole industry. It allows the industry or the players of the industry to feel that there is more money out there to be requested, and this is why I've come to the conclusion that I've come to.
Yeah. Obviously, you can't think for the promoter, but why would you have disclosed it in the first place?
I think the promoter was actually trying to defend himself. Because normally, as we know, when an artist or something goes wrong with a show, the first thing that you have to do is to assure the people that you, the promotional company, did everything possible to assure that the artist, was able to come. So we can't speak for the promoter, but I would assume, being in the same line of work, that what he was doing is saying to the people, yes, I collected your ticket money and I promoted this artist, and here is the money that I paid him, just to allow you guys to know that we definitely did have a contractual agreement and, that type of stuff. But I think the disclosure of the deposit of 900 and something thousand US then allowed people to say, well, if the deposit was 900 and something US, what was the actual fee? And this is where we are now.
Yeah, and the fact, I think even after that, he said he gave another $150,000.
Yes.
So he didn't come up to 1.3. I think that would make it like 1.1. I was having a little discussion privately with someone, and they thought that Vybz Kartel should have still performed because he got $1 million. What are your thoughts? I know there was a contractual agreement, and the agreement was 1.3. But you get $1 million up front, 1.1 up front, and my friend said, well, maybe he should have still, for the people, people were looking forward to it. Is there any merit to that?
I think that is based on, when there's a contractual agreement put in place, that will be based on, what the artist and the artist management decides to do. It's almost like, when you arrive at a city to do an event, and the event is not as supported as it should be, right? The artist at the time has the decision within him or herself to say, you know what, I'm here already, I am going to perform, or contractually, I don't have to perform because you weren't able to fulfill your part of the deal. So I wouldn't say Kartel is wrong or right for not performing. It just depends on what they had, in their contractual agreement.
Okay.
So what is the downside of the fee being announced? Because I see other players saying, this may not be bad for dancehall because it shows that we can command a good amount of money. We are certainly worth it. What do you see as the cons to folks knowing? I saw Kartel post and he said, boy, I see the furor, but not everybody can manage a Kartel concert. And then if you're going to go for Kartel, say you have to have the big box. So what do you see as a downside? And is there a way this can help dancehall artists to probably command more?
I mean, first let me say, we're in a wonderful place in dancehall, right? Especially overseas, right? This is a wonderful place. It is a great thing to know that one of our artists can command so much money for a show. It's a great thing to know that one of our artists can, fill up arenas and sell out arenas in minutes and days and weeks, correct? So that is a wonderful thing. But we also have to not lose a sense of reality, knowing that, what Vybz Kartel is able to do, not every artist or most artists in our culture at this time is able to do it, right? So we can't look at what he's able to command and feel like, okay, well, because that money is available and because investors are looking to invest that type of money, we should then ask for more because it comes down to pulling. Cartel can ask for that money for the simple fact that he's actually allowing promoters to make a profit on the investment, right? So if Cartel is charging, let's round it off at $1 million, right? And he's going into stadiums, and the stadiums are seating 20,000 people, and every section of the stadium costs a different amount of money. So let's say the average ticket cost then would be $350, right? Then I can see why Cartel's team would say, listen, we need $1.2 million to do this particular event, right? I can also see why a promoter would agree because there is some type of profit there at the end of the day. But if another artist then, who may charge, 60,000, decides that because so much money is being offered to a Vybz Kartel, I'm going to move my booking fee to 100,000, right? Which is probably going to happen. Then you have to look at that artist and say, well, what would be the difference in your pulling power?
But that's a legitimate question that would have to be asked and proven. That's why contracts come about, no? Because if you are going on a car lot to buy a Bentley, you're going to pay a different money than if you're going there to buy a motorbike. And that's not a comparison between us. I'm just saying, based on who you are in the industry, Sir Garfield, and the kind of audience you command, there are just certain artists who are going to be able to charge $1 million and a promoter don't blink. And then others who is 60 grand or 70 grand or 80 grand to do it. They're never going to be able to ask for $1 million and get it from any promoter. So
the argument, go ahead.
Oh no,
The argument is not whether artists are going to ask for $1 million because clearly they can't do that. But what they will do is they will look at what Cartel, because here's what I would like people to really understand about the unwritten culture of pricing in our states, right? Most artists look at the top artist fee and they work backwards in order to determine what their price is. So our pricing is based on comparison, right? So if the top artist is getting 100,000 US abroad to perform, you are going to look at that artist and you're going to say, how far is my category from that artist? Do I have the hot songs that artist have right now? Am I in demand right now as well as that hot artist is? And if your answer is no, then you're going to say, okay, well, I'm not going to charge 100,000 then. What I'm going to do is I'm going to charge 75,000 or I'm going to charge 60,000 because I have to put some room between myself and the magnitude of that artist at the moment. So the higher the leading artist charges in our industry, it moves the margin of what the artist in a lower category will charge. Does that make sense?
People charge on a curve is what you're saying.
Yes, that is what it is. We charge based on what is happening in the marketplace. So if we know that the highest artist commands this amount of money and you are not a caliber of that artist, then you're looking for half of that money or even less than that. You understand what I'm saying?
So do you think this is going to affect bookings for shows now? You think there are artists going to hold on?
I ultimately see it happening. I just saw where the promoter from the Trinidad show released, and this is not my words, this is his, where he was basically saying that, another artist, right, was to perform, right, because Cartel wasn't going to be able to perform. And that artist and his management said, listen, we are now the headliners for the show because Cartel won't be here, so we need the money that you were going to give Vybz Kartel.
I think you answered the question already, Sir Garfield, but if you are a promoter now and you say you want never bid, and I say, well, I said, I give Vybz, maybe I don't want to bid. What do you say? No, I will give you this, I don't want you in the show.
I don't want it to come to that level. What I would really want it to come to is that I want the artists and the management teams to look at pulling power versus pricing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If you can pull for the promoter, then charge whatever you need to charge.
Yeah.
If you can pull as much as Vybz Kartel, then charge as much as Vybz Kartel.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if you're an artist that yesterday you were booking for 40,000, and because you've heard about Vybz Kartel's fee and now you're booking for 65,000, there needs to questioning that $25,000 increase.
And you think that's something that is going to happen now based on what you see? Even with artists who have a baseline, because you guys have been working with these promoters forever, you know what their charge is. You have a baseline. So if you've been paying them 50 grand for this cruise and 80 grand for this, and then come tomorrow and say, they must know their price in themselves for the market, they come to you for 150. I mean, cartel is cartel is cartel is cartel. So how would they be able to justify that?
I mean, it's supply and demand. The sad thing of the whole situation is that promoters need artists. Promoters have a business and they need artists. So at times when the patrons want to see a particular artist, sometimes you will feel yourself backed into that corner to kind of submit to the needs of that particular artist, because that is the artist that you need to make the profit that you need to make for your business, right? It's no different than keeping a major stage show in Jamaica, and there's one particular two artists where run the whole place in Jamaica, but they outprice themselves when it comes to that particular stage show, and everyone in Jamaica saying, but keep big show and Neverland shit on the show, right? That artist is forced, that promoter is still forced to at least try to come. So yesterday the artist would have paid 50 grand, right? But now the artist want 90 grand, right? But because of the demand, it may land somewhere by 75,000. So again, the promoter ends up paying a $15,000 or $20,000 more than he initially wanted to pay. But I think this will happen in the industry.
All right. Thanks for your opinions and thanks for speaking to us this morning. Blessings, Gregory.
Thank you.